Alright everybody, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to show you a hack to make your own buttons out of bead findings. I know when I was new to costuming it was really off-putting to do some styles that required buttons because of the cost of doing buttons. So this is something that I found on a 17th century example. I can't link it for you because it is copyrighted, but I can show you how that I have decided to make them and reproduce them. These are 10mm glass beads. They've got the pre-drilled holes, and they're really just they've got a lovely weight. I don't go smaller than 8mm when I'm doing this, just because I want to be able to manipulate the button and get it through my button loops. So, in addition to using the 10mm beads, we are also going to be using some fancy headed jewelry pins. They're just called head pins. This is the style I got at your standard big box store. But the reason that I like the fancy head pins is because no matter what size hole these guys seem to have, you can always get the bead to stop on the head pin. So it's not going anywhere, which is really our goal. If you do happen to run across beads that you're using where the hole has been drilled larger than your head pins, they do have caps you can purchase to combine with these as well. It makes for some really fancy looking buttons. So I have 3 sets of pliers I use on a regular basis. These are more wire cutters. These are a standard needle nose plier type. These are actually my go-to favorite. They don't have any grooves on the teeth or on the beak, however you want to phrase that. So it doesn't damage the really soft metal of these head pins. I did a blog post about this years ago, but that was before I realized what an awesome media video would be. So if you're more of a, hey, I want to see a description, there's definitely a post on my blog for that. And sometimes you are out of practice and you are going to mess this up. So let me cut this off. Maybe. There we go. So, first step, we're going to thread the bead, thread the bead onto the head pin. I'm going to take these and fairly close to the actual bead, unless you want very long shanks. I'm going to start to fold this around my pliers and then twist it so it creates sort of this T shape. Put the pliers back in, and if you want you could use the other pliers. These are soft enough I can actually manipulate it with my fingers. So I'm going to loop this around until I get this little tiny end, and then snip that end off. The reason I keep cupping my hand around it is to keep the little wire bits from running off and stepping on them later when they shoot off my table. And this is really the only time I use the teethy version of the pliers, and that's because it's a much flatter edge, so I can kind of just tap that little edge back in here. Come on, focus. There we go. So you can kind of see what that looks like. I'm going to do this for you one more time just to kind of help you, but look at how fast that was. So buttons do not have to break your bank. They do not have to take a vast amount of time. So again, we are holding this about there. I'm going to bend because that creates the top of my shank. Kind of rotate that. And that's why I've actually got this mat on here. It helps slow the buttons down if they try to run away from me. And that way they don't end up broken on the floor. I wouldn't necessarily recommend putting this on something that you intend to wash, just because depending on your beads there may be imperfections in them. Mine are black, so I can't even see that. But I'd hate for your buttons to get shattered in the wash. So again, I'm just tapping that little runaway edge here back in to my coil around the base of my shank. This one keeps trying to roll away from me, so I'm going to hold it with one pair of pliers, and this is why having two is kind of handy. There you go. So the other bonus of tapping that little wire bit back into the coil is it's not going to be able to snag as easily on your garments if you're using brocades that have sort of floating fancy threads on them. This one does not want to go back in. But I'm also not deleting these or continuing to re-record this video, so you can kind of see some humanity to it. And you can see how I approach fixing some of those runaway moments. There we go. Okay, so there's a second button. So I spent, I'm gonna say, strands of beads when they weren't on sale were about $7 a strand, plus the head pins, which were about $3.50. So 14, probably about $20. For $20, I'm going to get almost 30 buttons to put on my friend's Dutch cloak. Maybe plan a little bit extra, grab an extra packet of head pins if you're new and you're just needing some practice. Luckily, this sort of thing goes on sale at your local craft store, or you can get them in bulk online pretty frequently. That's what I've got for you today, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a marvelous day, and let me know how you like the button tutorial by commenting or liking down below. Have a great day. Bye.